بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله سيدنا مولانا محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين نحمد الله تعالى ونستغفر ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده وحبيبه ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأزواجه وصحبه التابعين خلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعده وسمت على التحقيق خصوصا من علامات خلفاء الرسول على التحقيق أمراء المؤمنين حضرت أبو بكر عمر عثمان وعلي وعلى بقية الصحابة التابعين رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين يا أيها المؤمنون الحاذرون اتقوا الله تعالى واتقوا الله مع الذين اتقوا الذين هم محسنون الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praises are due to Allah, Lord of the universes. All praises are due to Allah, the first, the last, the manifest, the hidden, the one who has might and power over all things. All praises are due to Allah who sent Sayyidina Muhammad والسلام, as the giver of glad tidings and as the warner. And may all peace and blessings be upon the master of intercession, the master of the Maqam al-Mahmud, the master of authority, the master of the highest rank, the master of the crown, Sayyidina Muhammad والسلام, and upon his noble family and blessed companions, especially upon the Khulafa Rashidin, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazrat Umar Farooq, Hazrat Osman al-Ghani, and Hazrat Ali al-Murtaza, and all those who follow them until the last day. O believers, this khutbah place, this mimbar, it is the maqam of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. It is from this mimbar that the Holy Prophet ﷺ conveyed the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is from this mimbar that the Holy Prophet ﷺ inspired 124,000 sahabis who went out into the world to spread the light of Islam. It is from this mimbar that the Holy Prophet ﷺ gave glad tidings to the people, and he also warned them. But no sound comes from the mimbar anymore. No more glad tidings and no more warning. Majority use the mimbar only for their own desires. They speak from the mimbar asking for dunya. They speak from the mimbar to advance their own politics. They speak from the mimbar only to collect for themselves. Nobody speaks from the mimbar to talk about what is happening today, what the danger is today, and how to protect ourselves from it. And this silence, it is a fulfillment of the prophecy. Rasulullah ﷺ, the one with the knowledge of the tablet and the pen, and he said in his Hadith Sharif, the Dajjal will not appear until the people become negligent in talking about him. and the imams abandoned talking about him on the mimbars. And this silence about the fitna of the Akhir Zaman, this silence about this Zaman of the Dajjal and the appearances of Mahdi alayhi salam, this silence came in the last 100 years. Because the Muslims have forgotten who we are. And in that amnesia, we have abandoned intelligence. Instead of living according to the words and lifestyle of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, we Muslims have lived only for our own ego. Our Shaykh, Sahib al-Saif, Shaykh Abdul Karim al-Kibrisi Rabbani Qadasallah Sir is saying, 21st century people lost the direction everywhere, in every way. No one is happy with what they have. Why is that? Because everyone wants their ego to be on the top, nothing else. If you are a servant of Allah, then you must step on your ego. If you're worshipping to your ego, then you're claiming to be the servant of Allah is lying and cheating. And that's what the 21st century people are in, that kind of mess they are in. They are making sajda, but the sajda is to their ego, not to their Lord. So many people are also in the masjids, but they are not servants. They are not serving. They are serving to the ego. And those servants of the ego who are sitting inside the masjids, fooling the people, they are the most dangerous people on the face of the earth. Those ones who are supposed to warn the nation, those ones who are supposed to give the good tidings to the nation, those ones in the Akhir Zaman, they are the most dangerous, and they are from that category of people that the Holy Prophet ﷺ warned us against, whom he said they are more dangerous than Dajjal. Hazrat Abu Zar radiallahu an is narrating, saying, I was with the Prophet ﷺ one day and I heard him saying, there is something I fear for my ummah more than the Dajjal. It was then that I became afraid. So I said, Ya Rasulullah, which thing is that? He replied, misguided and astray scholars. The Holy Prophet ﷺ told us that such scholars will be in the army of Dajjal, saying, 70,000 scholars wearing turbans from my community will follow the Dajjal. And the scholars of today, they have revealed themselves. Why they are more dangerous than Dajjal? Because they are destroying the faith of the Muslims. They have turned Islam into a game. The objective is only for them to gain fame and reputation. Muslims must wake up. We are in the middle of a great fitna, but we are sleeping. Less than 100 years ago, our Khalifa was taken away. The Khilafat, an unbroken chain of religious and worldly authority that gave a link between the Muslims and the Holy Prophet ﷺ going back 1,400 years. And within one night, the office of the Khilafat was destroyed. It was abolished. What was the first thing that the Ummah did? They tried to bring the Khilafat back. From the regular people to the scholars, everybody said Islam cannot survive without a Khilafat. But the enemies of Islam continued to trick the Muslims, and so the Khilafat, it was not re-established. And so many Muslims, being with those enemies of Islam, then and now, to stop the unity of the Ummah under one leadership. And in the vacuum that was left in the absence of the Khilafat, the enemies of Islam tried to establish a new seat of power. And they were aided in this effort by those who wanted power and they wanted influence. They said the power of Islam lies in its scholars. They said Islam is only about ilm, book knowledge. So they gave power to the scholars, not any scholars. They first gave power to the Khariji, Wahhabi scholars. And that ideology was spread from east to west through petrodollars. Even in the shade of the tombs of the awliya Allah, the Wahhabi ideology spread and it took over. And they made people believe that Islam was founded on the scholars, and that the scholars held the inheritance of Islam. They made people hate all of the sultans and the khalifas, saying those people, they were all corrupt. They were not Muslim. They are going to Jahannam, and in doing that, they divorced the ummah from the inheritance of 1,400 years. In the last 25 years, however, we see a new agenda come up. A new group of scholars. They come up saying, we are traditional scholars. We don't like Wahhabism. We follow the 4 mazhabs. We love the awliya Allah. We are anti-Wahhabi. And for the last 25 years, these scholars have been supported, just like the Wahhabi scholars were promoted before. And so many innocent Muslims who were from Ahlus Sunnah wa Jama'ah, they were happy in this. They said, finally, we are hearing the voices of these moderate scholars who are teaching the Islam that we recognize. And so these scholars went around the world doing mawlids, claiming to be spreading the love of Rasulullah alayhi wasallam. But now we see that they were another chess piece in the game of Dajjal. Because they said the Wahhabis are very strong in showing external signs of Islam, so we shouldn't do that. We don't need to look like Muslims. They say the Wahhabis are very strict in condemning the haram, so we will not condemn any haram. Only Allah can judge. They say the Wahhabis talk about Khilafat, so we don't believe in Khilafat anymore. And so they were taking away the connection of the Muslims to the Sunnah and the history, claiming that these were signs of being a Wahhabi. And so they destroyed having a strong Muslim identity while promoting a so-called traditional Islam that was actually turning the Muslims into Christians. Don't judge, don't look like a Muslim, don't have an Islamic identity. Everything is about love. They did this in the name of Sunnism and Tariqat. And in the last 25 years, we see that so many people became more interested in Tariqat. They said, if I want to be a traditional Muslim, if I want to follow the way of the awliya Allah, the friends of Allah, I must connect myself to a sheikh. I must start to travel on the path of suluk. I must commit myself to a tariqat. The real tariqats, they teach the people discipline. They teach people submission. They teach people to be aware from Dajjal, from the ego, from Shaitan, and to be ready for Mahdi alayhi salam. And so now those same traditional scholars, they are saying, Tariqat is a cult. They are saying Sufism is just psychology. Following a sheikh, it is ignorant. Being in a Tariqat, it is innovation. And they say, actually, you know, the Wahhabis are correct, because they fought against Tariqat and they brought back Tawheed. So now we see the game that they played. They destroyed Wahhabism, saying that it was making Muslims to be too strict in their practice. They said that showing your Islam and being Wahhabi was the same, and they destroyed that pride in displaying the Sunnah and preserving our history. Then when Tariqat made people wake up to the history of Islam and the events of the last days, they started to lash out at Tariqat and Sufism, saying that it is a cult and it is spiritual abuse. And the results of their destruction, only one thing is left. Themselves, the scholars. The scholars are saying that they are the saviors of the Ummah. And they are presenting themselves as though they are Mahdi alayhi salam. Only they have the knowledge to defend Islam. Only they can save Islam through their knowledge. The game they played is almost complete. And now they have shown their end game to make Muslims to trust the scholars, only the scholars, and to follow the scholars who will be in the lines of Dajjal. They are painting themselves as the saviors of Islam and are saying that only the ulama can save Islam. This is not only foolish, It goes against our history. This ummah, we went through the hardest conditions. There were times in our history where it looked like Islam could finish. During those times, it was not the scholars who saved Islam. It was the heroes of Islam who lived and they died for Islam that saved Islam. It was not scholars who fought in Karbala. It was not scholars who defeated the Mongols in Ain Jalut. It was not scholars who drove back the Crusaders from Quds. It was not scholars who opened Istanbul. It was not the blood of scholars that watered the grounds of Çanakkale. It is the blood and sweat of the believers who are not busy with theory, but with practice. They said, we will live and we will die for Allah. And they proved it through their actions. The saviors of Islam were those who lived and died according to the sunnah of the Rasulullah ﷺ, when they said, may my parents be sacrificed for you, Ya Rasulullah. May my children be sacrificed for you. May I be sacrificed for you. Today's scholars, definitely, they don't fit to being a model of the prophetic authority. Because one of the sicknesses of the scholars, especially of today's scholars, here we're talking about today's scholars. One of their sicknesses is arrogance. They think that they are better than everyone. And because of that, they make companionship only with other scholars with their books. They stay in their rooms writing about how to fix problems without ever going out into the world to feel the pain of those who are in need. Mixing with the people, helping people, loving people, carrying their burdens. That is the sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That is one of the most important sunnahs of the Holy Prophet. He did not come to give dars. Holy Prophet ﷺ came to give sohbat. And in that sohbah, he captured the hearts of the people. The Sahaba-i-Kiram, they passed to us how Holy Prophet ﷺ passed his day minute by minute after he woke up and prayed Fajr namaz. What did the Holy Prophet ﷺ do? He used to sit and give sohbat. After the sohbat, he would go to visit the sick people. He would attend funerals and he used to tend to the needs of the community. Then again after namaz, after asar namaz, they used to meet with people, give sohbat, consult with people, and fix any disputes between the people. And after Isha namaz again, he would give private sohbat. He was not giving lectures. He was fixing people's problems. He was taking people out of darkness and bringing them into light. And this tradition has been carried for 1400 years through the inheritors of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the carriers of his knowledge, the awliya Allah. They are the ones who spread Islam east to west by sitting with people, sitting with strangers, sitting with enemies, listening to them, learning about them and bringing the Nur Muhammad to them to make them to love the Holy Prophet ﷺ and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those awliya Allah in this time, they are saying that scholars are not the answer to our problems. The answer is the return of the Sultan. Muslims should not be fooled. Of course, the scholars have a place in Islam. Of course, the scholars have a very important role to play in Islam, but they are not the representative of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. The representative of Rasulullah ﷺ is only one, and he is the Khalifa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has only one shadow on earth, and that is the Sultan. The scholars are there to support the Sultan. They are not a source of authority to rule. The Sultan spreads the justice of Allah on the earth. Scholars, soldiers, and the citizens, they are there to support the justice of Allah. The Ottomans, they ruled for more than 500 years. And the Ottomans ruled according to the principle of Dair al-Adliya, the circle of justice, which states There can be no royal authority without the military. There can be no military without wealth. The subjects produce the wealth. Justice preserves the subjects' loyalty to the sultan. Justice requires harmony in the world. The world is a garden. Its walls are the state. The divine law orders the state. There is no support for the divine law except through sultanic authority. Inshallah Rahman, we're praying for that sultan to return, because it is only through the sultan that divine order will be returned to the world. It is only with the reflection of the divine will in the world that everything will be put in its place. It is only through divine law that everyone is given their rights. Today, everyone has been stripped of their rights. The poor have no rights. The minorities have no rights. The Darwinian law of survival of the fittest is the only law that is ruling in the world. This is not Islam. And that is why the world is filled with injustice and barbarism. We are not fighting. We are sitting quietly on the top of a mountain praying. But our prayer is big. Our prayer is for Mahdi alayhi salam. Our prayer is for the Khilafat. Our prayer is for the Sultanate. Because that is the path to justice, and that is the path that has preserved equity and peace in the world for 1400 years. Our hope is to see that again. We are living according to our Shaykh's words, who is saying, the Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, wait until one of my descendants appears, because before his appearance, no one is going to be able to change anything. The awliya Allah have the power in their hands. Allah gave them the power to change things, but they have proper manners. They are not interfering in anything. They pulled themselves out, because all the hadiths of the Holy Prophet ﷺ must come to life. And that's what's happening. But he's saying, if you are a believer who is living at that time, then you have to hold on tightly to the rope of Allah. Allah is saying to us, hold on tightly to the rope of Allah and do not separate. And Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying to us, hold on tightly to my sunnahs. Apply the sunnahs to your life, not just by word, but to take them and to put them in your life. And leave the city areas. Move away from the city areas to the mountainsides and keep your faith according to as much as you know. Don't go around searching so much also, because you are going to see so many books everywhere and so many people are speaking so many things, but they are only going to give you more confusion. Everything that you're going to learn is going to make you more confused. So if you know a couple of hadiths, apply them to your life. Try to live a correct lifestyle and wait for the Sahibul Zaman Muhammad Mahdi alayhi salam to take the takbir. This is what we are doing. This is what we are waiting for. Inshallah Rahman, this is what we are trying to apply to our life. We have no claim in this world. Anyone who is claiming is not too intelligent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the authority. There is no superpower except Him. He is the supreme ruler of this world. May Allah accept our intention, inshallah. Astaghfirullah. 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 La ilaha illa wa hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu kullu shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu kullu shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, له الملك والحمد كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إن كنت من الظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إن كنت من الظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إن كنت من الظالمين. سبح قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح. سبح قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح. سبح قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح. إن دين عند الله الإسلام. قام الصلاة. اللهم
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح وَدِقَامَتْ سَلَاتُ وَدِقَامَتْ سَلَامُ اللّٰهُ ekber, Allahu ekber, la ilahe illallah.
Selam olalım. Mustafa Mufa.